The Trump administration will soon roll back Obama-era regulations on school lunches in an effort to increase options for healthy and appealing meals for our children.
Which means things like flavored chocolate milk will be back on the menu. Here to break down all of that is the director at the Center for Progress and Innovation for the Independent Women's Forum, Julie Gunlock. Julie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Famously, we remember during the Obama years when these school lunch mandates were put out, that a lot of people complained, well, there's no taste to the food anymore, the kids won't eat them. But ultimately, they were trying to make sure that our kids ate healthier food, right?
That's right. These reforms that went through in 2010, pushed by Michelle Obama, were well-intentioned, but in reality, kids were not eating the food. And we saw that there was a major food waste problem developing in some of these schools. Kids were taking their entire trays and throwing them in the garbage. One study said that 60% of vegetables, 40% of fruit was just being tossed. In one LA county, the school made an arrangement with a homeless shelter to give the food because they had so much left, because again, kids were not eating the food. So these reforms are just to give school cafeteria workers essentially more flexibility to make the food tasty as well as nutritious.
It's such a tough problem, though, because obesity is a problem here in America. So I think Michelle Obama, her idea was to make school lunches healthy. Every parent wants that. And this is not a new problem. I mean, every parent knows it's hard to get your kids to eat vegetables and fruit, especially when they get a little bit older and they're going to school. So do you think this is the best solution, though? I mean, I don't know if we really want our kids to, just because they're not eating the healthy foods and healthy choices, so now we go back to pizza and hamburgers?
Well, this is being cast as, oh, junk food's making a return to schools, unhealthy food. You know, we're going to go back to where ketchup is considered a vegetable,
right.
That famous case. But this isn't that. Look, the thing is there's nothing wrong with a child eating a corn tortilla or a flour tortilla. Some of the rules, for instance, taking out butter and salt. Now, I'm a mother of 3 children. I have to get my kids to eat vegetables. And I don't need a PhD in nutrition to know that if I put a little bit of butter and some salt on the broccoli, or I put a little bit of cheese, it's going to entice them. They're going to enjoy it more. All of those tools were taken away from the school cafeteria workers, making it much harder to make the food appealable to children.
Julie, do you really think a little butter is going to make a kid eat broccoli? Come on.
No. No, I do. I meant yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not
I do.
at school, but at our house, when the parents watching them.
Okay, so these are some of the things that they apparently are going to do under these requirements. They will broaden milk options by allowing flavored, low-fat milk, which could include chocolate milk. Also will require that half of the weekly grains be whole grain rich, and will provide more time for gradual sodium reduction. So ultimately, are you saying that we may be taking half a step backwards, but ultimately more food will be consumed?
Well, again, yes, I understand that obesity is a problem, but kids not eating at school at all is also a problem. And I think we also need to remember we need to give more control to the local folks, people on the ground trying every day to make appealable food for these children. And if they're not eating the food, that's a real problem. I also think it's important that we not forget parents should be more involved. Instead of relying on the school lunch program, more parents should be packing their kids a lunch. If you don't approve of what's on the menu, you should be packing your kids a lunch. We know parent involvement is one of the things that helps childhood obesity the most. I know some people rely on the school lunch program, but we know from the data an awful lot of people from very wealthy families, in fact, buy the school lunch program. I encourage people to get more involved in their children's nutrition.
Hear, hear. All right. Julie Gunlock, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thanks for having me.